I'm ready.
Colleen?
Mm-hmm.
Let's go. Okay, let's close our eyes for a second. Just ground in. So for those of you new to the grounding world, I'm just going to encourage you to get into your body. So when I say grounding, it means get into your body. So allow yourself to take a couple breaths in. And as you breathe in, allow the energy through the breath to move into the body for you to get really present in your body. And just allow yourself to move with that breath and watch it move into the body and out through the body. Whew. And our intention always is to live in the purity of light. So a lot of us move through life in distortions or in shadows. So today, as we open, we're going to bring in a small clearing just to move some energy around. So as you continue to ground and breathe in, I'm just going to call on the ancestors of the north to drop into our awareness field right now, calling in the ancestors to the east, along with the bald eagle and dragon realm. The ancestors to the south, coming in with the energy of the whale and dolphin realm. And the energies and ancestors to the west, bringing in a very mountain-like, mountain lion energy with them. And those to the north are walking into this field of awareness with polar bears in unity. And as all four of these ancestors drop into our awareness, along with the realms that serve them at this very moment of time, we call in our angels and guides, and any other ascended masters we're working with at this time, to drop in first to create a circle around us of purity. And as we start to see energy moving around us, we ask them to clear any energy that is not purely of love, light, and truth. And just allow yourself to drop in and surrender to anything that needs to leave your field right now. In the rooms that you're in the houses that you're in the workplaces, cars, wherever you are, allow that energy to leave. And we ask them next to protect our energy field now in the purity of light as they move this energy through us, around us, upgrading the shields that we currently have for those that use protection mechanisms, bringing in a new level of protection through us and in us right now at this very moment of time as we continue to drop in and surrender and allowing this energy to move through us as this activation, almost opening messages drop in now. And just drop into your heart and be here for a second as you feel this move through you. Yakisya syo sias. Sya. 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 Hoi. 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 Yaksya. Yaksya, yaksya, oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. And just taking a breath in and grounding through the energy and allowing yourself to just flow and be here today with us, opening up your heart to the messages dropping in and feeling the energy of that purity as we come back into our bodies, into this life right here, right now, on video together. And whenever you're ready, you can open up your eyes. And Brooke, you can take that. My whole body's like goosebump the fuck out. I'm like, whoa, that was cool.
Seriously. Oh. I am so fucking grateful right now just for this whole opportunity because wherever you just took me, like, I hate Earth.
I hate Earth. You're here for a reason, Brooke.
Right? But that's why this is like so important for me to do, is because that exact thing, like why am I having to struggle? Why do I have to suffer? Like, where is this? Well, I obviously know, we know it's in my fractal lines, it's my karmic baggage and all my ancestral shit that's put into this
Welcome.
human vehicle that I signed up for to make some fucking magic. Like, and that is what we get to do, what I get to do today too, with this like suffer and this struggle and being able to surrender and feel what it is that my suffer and struggle is. And so of course, it like, oh, okay, I'm gonna have this meeting with you guys. What's my suffer? What's my struggle? Well, it could be a whole bunch of things, but ultimately I went rollerblading.
I love you and your rollerblading. Oh my gosh.
So what came to me is like one of my biggest struggles and suffers right now is the being a know-it-all, And this has deeply impacted me multiple times over. And yes, I know this comes from my childhood and things like that. And but where it's coming up for me right now is when I'm in conversations with people or wanting to have a conversation with somebody, but because we're not small talk people,
Yep.
there's that like me wanting to be myself and me not being able to be myself, right? Like just due to that goddamn know-it-all attitude. Like, and it's really actually quite fun. I know, me and my shadow shit, because
Frick loves to play in the shadows.
right? But I'm just like, what the hell? Okay, so obviously it's part of the strong ego part of me. So being able to be here and share it and talk about it is literally all it needs in order to transmute. I'm owning it and saying, God damn it, I want to be the abundant person that I was put here to be. I should give myself more fucking credit because I'm listening to multiple hours a day of transmissions and like the last year has been so intense for my evolution and for my intelligence that now it's just another level of fucking know-it-all, right? Because now I'm up here per se with my energy field, and that's where that challenge comes in at to be here on this earth. But ultimately, you know, that's the inner child wound that's coming up, which is great. So that means little of me and my thinking, the dualities, right? Because when the inner child in me comes up and says, hey, you know, that voice is like, you're know-it-all or whatever, it's like, well, what is the truth? One, I'm needing to be safe in some way and protected in some way. So my masculine's going to be like protection. So that's my ego, and that's my ego behavior that's going to come in. But where the hardest part is when we do this spiritual work and we do this shadow work, to not become that quote unquote ego part, right? But surrender to it. And that's what it takes, is that masculine though to surrender. And the compassion, the feminine part of me to come in and be just really a lot more sensitive to myself. And I see, this is it. This is how we work through it, is to be able to have this simple conversation, because do you know how often I work on compassion for myself? It's not something that is just readily available to our human vehicles due to the wounds and the the smog, for sure. But ultimately, being that itself, that is the oneness. I just created oneness between my shit, my inner child issues, and so how I just feel like this will probably come up for me today, now that I had this conversation with you, is instantly, because I've practiced self-compassion, because I know what self-compassion is. It is in me. I'll know time for some self-compassion.
Yeah.
And that is just like, what is that going to look like? Who knows? Just being so utterly kind to myself, like the God source I am, and being okay with that.
I know, Tanya, for sure. Go for it.
I'm so right with you right now.
I'm like, go ahead. I want to hear what you have to say about this.
Well, because, and I'm really trying hard not to cry, as per usual, because I'm like an emotional hot mess half the time.
We love you.
But this is because of years of stuffing this shit down, and I've been like so in with my guides lately. Like, why do I have to be like so upset all the time? Why do I feel like I have to cry at the drop of a hat, like constantly? And they're like, why have you repressed it for 40 years?
Right. Yeah.
They're like, it's got to come out. And I'm like, oh yeah. But the self-compassion, and this is not even where I was going to go today, but it's so interesting this is coming up, because obviously it's what I need to hear and what I need to talk about too. All right. I'm really trying not to cry so you can understand me. I have, and I know both of you are aware of this, that I have struggled with an eating disorder. I've struggled with addiction issues. Pretty much my eating disorder started when I was 11, but then it morphed back and forth into the various addiction issues through most of my adult life. So I have really, with this eclipse season this year, I have really anchored in and surrendered that and let it go. So consequently, I went through some dark shit this last 4 months or so. And it has not been fun. It has not been fun. It has been hard. It has been every day waking up going, why the fuck am I even here? I do not want to be here. I would rather check out. But then, there's always that reminder that I knew I was getting into this. I fucking knew I was getting into this when I came here. And I 100% know that the reason why I have 2 children with autism who need me so much is because I would have checked out a long time ago. But they need me. Yeah. They need me, and it was a design. Like, that's the beauty of the design, right? We fucking suffer, but there's light on the end. There is a gift in it. And if you can just see past, and trust me, when you are in that shit, you don't fucking see it. You don't want to see it. You're sitting there and you are miserable AF, and you're just like, I hate this. I hate how I feel. I hate how my body feels. I hate all this emotion coming up in me. But then there's that constant gentle reminder from your soul. Yeah. Have compassion for yourself. It's okay. You don't have to be perfect. It's not about perfection, and it's okay that you're having a bad day, because my spiritual ego was like constant. You should be through this. You shouldn't be suffering like this. You should have gone through this. Why aren't you doing your spiritual practice? Why can't you meditate? I was so in my shit, I couldn't even meditate for weeks. Because I was so constantly, like, the minute I sat down, I'm just like, I couldn't even, like, focus, just sit in silence. I couldn't even do it. There was so much coming up for me. And Spirit like, and I was, and then I started doubting my voice and like doubting my channel and doubting my guidance and all this stuff coming up, all these doubts and fears and shit, because it had to be let go. It had to be. And I've turned such a corner in just like, since this last like really week or so, and really started stepping into that sense of like, oh, I think I'm on the other side of this, and the relief that comes from that. But then at the same time, being able to look back at where I am judging myself with that sense of compassion and realizing that, okay, this is all divinely orchestrated. This is all my soul meant to do, to come here, and there's a purpose for it. There's a purpose in our pain, and it's there for a reason, and it fucking sucks. But if you can get through, and that's the hard part, I think so many people are just like, get me out, and they're not willing to sit with it. And that's what the freaking work is. You sit with that shit and you allow it to move through you, and you allow spirit to really, like, if you can continue to go back to your connection to the divine, go back and be like, okay, listen, help me in whatever way, shape, or form. Because listen, my guidance was freaking crickets. Like, I wasn't hearing shit. And I was like, I'm on an island all by myself. And I would get like, no, you're not. And that was it.
Yeah.
That was it. Nothing. And I would sit there and I'm like, I'm getting goosebumps right now. I'm like, what am I supposed to be doing? What am I supposed to be doing? Exactly what you're doing. That's it. Like, one word answers. That's it. And I'm so used to like getting like narrative dialogue. Like, we chat all the time, like ongoing all day long. And it was crickets. And I'm like, God bless. What the hell? And I would cry. I'd be fine for half an hour, and then I'd be bawling. And I'm sitting here, and I'm like, and it would last for a few seconds, and there was like nothing, no reason. Like, I would just start sobbing, and I'm like, I feel like I'm going crazy. And Spirit's like, just releasing. Yeah. You're doing great. And I'm like, it's so hard. But honestly, and this has been like several months now. So now I'm like, I'm at this place now where I'm kind of like, oh, okay. I feel like I'm integrating some of this, right? And I feel like I'm coming back into like where my energetic body has released a lot of stuff. So now I'm back in like my energetic emotional body. I'm much more in alignment. And I'm feeling more like, okay, if I've embodied some of this stuff, I've released a lot. And now I'm having so many more beautiful insights about things, because I'm like, oh yeah, things I struggled with in the past because I just was like, just had this convoluted perspective, whether I was stuck in my ego or whatever. But the shift, I don't know if I'm explaining myself, but the shift is like, it's like, I feel like even just like my physical body, I just feel like I'm on this other level now, having like been through that. Does that make sense? Like, not like as a level like better than somebody else. That's not what I mean. Just like I feel more like myself. Like I'm meant to be more, like I've integrated more of my soul in my physical presence. I don't know how to explain it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. Talking about Brooke.
No, that's absolutely true. It's beautiful, and I love that. There's no good, there's no bad. It's like, that's the human that is told to us, that you being sad, you crying, you releasing is bad. And we know that is not true, but we also take that responsibility and do it in private on our own. Like, we fucking do that. It's not easy. Yeah. It's not simple. And no one else can do it for us.
Oh no. I'm like, can't you just make this get easier? And Spirit's like, you got to do it, and then we can do it for you. I'm like, I know that, but God bless it, I wish somebody could.
Well, it's kind of funny too, because sometimes you wake up and you're like, oh, I'm here now. Huh. I thought I was here yesterday. Oh, there you are. Hi. nice to see
Yeah, yeah,
that.
that's what I mean. It's like, who is that? Like, that person is like different, totally different timeline, totally different person now. And I'm like, okay. So this new version of me that's like on this new timeline because I've done this work, it's just, it feels so different, right? It feels so different once you do that and then you move through. Because even like last year, Colleen, when we were doing the shadow stuff, releasing shadow stuff, I'm like, oh, I feel totally different. Not like this.
Yep.
Now like this is totally different.
Yep.
Totally different. But this is like karmic shit, right? This was like the karmic getting through the lifetime lesson shit, right?
Yeah.
Like this was like all of my life leading up until now, right? So this was like, there's no more avoiding it. There's no more shoving it down. You can't ignore it anymore. It's like forced in your face. Deal with this shit. You have no choice.
Yeah.
And trust me, I was kicking and screaming. I was like, nope. But
That's the inner child, right?
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
If we like, I think that we can just simplify healing and like with those three. I just like, oh my god, this is my inner child.
No, exactly.
Right.
But that's because the child wants it. I mean, that's the whole thing. Your inner child. That's how, and I'll speak for myself, but that is how I got to where I am. Why I had so much struggle with all that stuff is because of the wounded child.
Mm-hmm.
And my inner child is going to come out kicking and screaming because I developed those coping skills to protect myself from pain. And that's the inner child coming out saying, I don't want to deal with this. That's where that came from in the first place, right? So, of course, your inner child is going to come out and be like having a temper tantrum. And I did on a few occasions. I literally would just get on my yoga mat, sit down, like not even to practice. Like I would barely start even practicing. I would climb on my yoga mat and just bawl. Like that's all I did. I would lay there and just cry.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't even practice yoga. All I'm doing is crying.
I fucking love that. Do you know how like healing that was for all of us that you did that? Like you just surrendered to the suffer, like fucking take me away. You know,
Surrender to the suffer. It's true though. You do. You just get to a place where you have to surrender.
Yeah, like what else
do
can you
else.
do? Yeah, what else can you do? You know, it's interesting. Yesterday, so I was with an elder of like the Bree indigenous tribe, which is one of the 5 major tribes here in Costa Rica, like rooted tribes that have been on the land for hundreds of years. And I got called, so I was in a song activation the day before with them and then got called to do one-to-one work. It ended up dropping in that spirit was aligned and he welcomed me and my friend into the home they were staying in here. Like they live 12 hours from here, right? So they were staying with friends. And it was really cool because the friends actually run the market where I get my food. And it was really neat to just be in their home with that. Like, it was like the coolest experience. But he says to me, have you suffered? This is what he says to me. And I go, no, right? No. And I just hearing you guys and like, hear me out. Because I don't really understand what suffering actually means because I hold such a warrior energy that I just move through it all. And then he goes to me, in love, have you suffered in love? And we could talk about my fucking twin flame energy, who literally, he called me like 2 hours before we're leaving yesterday to go. He missed my birthday.
Imagine that.
He missed my birthday the day before, yeah. And he goes, I feel this man in your life. And I'm like, have you suffered through this? And I really had to dive in to go, did I suffer? And I'm like, am I still fucking suffering because I haven't fully let go of this energy to actually own the whole part? I know, right, Tanya? Isn't it fucking? And I was like, it was yesterday this happened, okay? Like, I'm in the awareness now going, wow. And he said to me, the man, my sacred union man was behind me. So then he gave me a protocol. You need to call him in because he's not in Costa Rica. He is somewhere else on the earth, which I know that he is somewhere else. But he goes, more every day, all day long, you need to be calling him in and praying for him and bringing him into your field. And he's basically said to me, it's okay for you to be happy. And I went, I think I am happy. Am I happy? Maybe I'm not really happy. Like, you know, maybe I'm only surface level happy. Am I surface level happy? Right? So then this started going into this conversation within myself. And like really understanding. And then you mentioned suffering today, and now we're talking about suffering, and I'm going, all right, you obviously cannot fucking deny this word in your existence any longer, because you've apparently been denying it, that you've been like suffering over here without thinking that this was suffering, like consistently going through the same fucking pattern over and over again, and not allowing yourself to fully embody and step into this new level of love that you actually desire, and holding on to these like strings of it, you know, like. And obviously you guys know some of the story, and Tanya knows like quite a bit more of the story than Brooke might know, but some of the story I can't even speak to yet, because of the fact that if someone else hears the fucking story, then I'm creating a whole bunch of chaos in the world, and maybe one day it'll just come out and people can fucking deal with the truth of it all. But like right now I'm just like, wow, okay, like now working within suffering. Did I suffer? What does suffering fucking mean to me even?
Yeah.
You know, what does it mean to me?
Yeah.
Right? It means avoiding conversations, or avoiding actually living a life that you really desire. Like, and stepping in and fully calling that in without having the shit around it going, well, you can only do this, or you can only do that, or you can be partially happy, or you can. So it's going to be like, literally I'm processing this in real time as we're talking right now, because it dropped in yet last night to now here, where I can't even deny that this is something that needs to move through, apparently. So that's what's going on in my mind in connection with this conversation. So funny.
That's
I
awesome.
love it. And this is the thing too, is when you start to have so much fun, you find the magic and in the pain, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is there is that question of, well, what do I think suffer is, right? Like that is so critical. Just what do I think sad is? What do I think happy is? And like I had told this to Tanya before, like we're told, see this picture,
Mm-hmm.
this is happy. See this picture, this is sad. Like what the just blows my mind that we are told, we are taught what our emotions are, instead of just studying them or just having it be innate in us, that it's whatever comes up is just natural. There is no good, there is no bad, it is. And so when you say that, like, what is the suffer? And it's really that what's here,
Mm-hmm.
what needs to be cleared here.
Yeah, through the heart, for sure.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's and obviously, like, Tanya's wheelhouse is sacred union, twin flame energy, soulmates, you know, worthiness discussion. And I don't know if I've ever not felt worthy, but obviously there's some other dynamics that have been moving through my world. And you know, the energy is a lot less than it's ever been, ever. And I'm really clear on it. Like, even when he called me yesterday, I was like, I can't talk. Like, I need to have an app. And then I'm going to this elder thingamajigger. Like, that's literally how I describe, you know, me and my crazy, like, I'm going to go have an experience. And then he was like, whatever he was doing. But I was like, I got to go, you know? And it's so just so interesting that it showed, obviously, for a fucking reason. It shows up in that space. So where now do I choose to not step into my actual sacred union and have all the things? Like the elder was even like, abundant love, prosperity, everything is this beautiful experience. And I know that it's there, you know, but it's like, it's almost like the patterns. Do I want to keep fucking playing over here? Am I going to keep in this fucking sludge instead of actually stepping in? So like over the last few months, I've made the commitment saying I'm ready. And I've even like asked the guy out. I'm even on a matchmaking service now. I'm taking this like primal dating workshop next weekend where all these single men and single women are going to be on it taking this workshop. So like I'm in it. Like I'm in it now, but now it's like really believing that it's actually possible. So it's actually kind of fun. Yeah.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
How do you
excited for you?
how do you feel being able to just like out yourself and own that and just be here in this space to be able to like get that shit off your chest instead of just
like,
hold
well,
it in? Or
I'm ready. you know, like I'm ready. So like, because I'm ready and made a commitment to be ready, like I can't ignore it any longer, right? So like, and I really feel, and you know this about me, but for those like watching this, it's like we're denying ourselves certain things. And when we don't speak it out into the world and make that energy commitment to it, we aren't actually holding it in the purity of its light. So like me going, I'm doing all these things and saying, I keep saying it and saying it. And it's funny, my girlfriend's here like, is this another guy you're stalking on Instagram? I was like, guys, I'm open to all fucking possibilities. And all of them right now aesthetically would qualify to date me. Okay, so let's just see who drops in. Because apparently I'm calling him in from somewhere in the world and he is fucking showing up, you know, like, and they think I'm nuts, and I am, and I own my nuts and I own my uniqueness and all of it's crazy, and I will never put her back into a fucking box any longer. I'm just going to keep opening her up, and the guy that's meant to drop into my world will be like, she's nuts, and I love her for being nuts, and I just will be, you know, me and my squirrel running around in my fucking chestnuts, you know, like, I just like, yeah, it's a visual I got.
I love it.
But yeah, just free, you know, like, and it doesn't mean that I'm not going to have to do the work or keep stepping in or own my shit, because obviously we're human, and with the sacred union I'm gonna have to fucking own my shit, and I'm gonna have to be called out on my shit, and I'm gonna have to be in that too and be available and vulnerable. Like I'm not over here going, oh, look at me and my hoity-toity like little fucking daisy garden floating around with fucking fairies. Like I know I'm gonna have to do work. Like I get it, right? Like I get it, and I'm ready to embody it and to be in it and to use that warrior energy to commit to this way of living. Like I'm ready, you know. But yeah, it's gonna be cool, and it's coming.
Relationships are the most powerful catalyst for evolution of consciousness.
Yeah,
Just throwing it out there.
totally agree.
It's so true. Oh my gosh. I love that, Colleen. How much fun is that? Like, could you stop having so much fun in your shit?
No. But the more fun I have, the more money I make. Okay, that's a mantra in my world. So I'm fucking having fun everywhere. All right, everywhere I'm having fun. Yeah, we're stepping fully in. Yeah, good time.
I love that.
Send you guys this song that always reminds me of all of us, because we're just like creating our own sunshine, and we're, you know, like having this dance of life, like really what it is. I'll just make my own sunshine, right?
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, well, this was great. I really like, what is so beautiful is for us to hold this container for each other, just because exactly what comes in for each one of us right beforehand is exactly what we need, and is exactly it, like I'm just like throat chakra right now, like for mankind, yes, but for women, I think like that's where I'm getting the energy of abundance of what it is that we are doing here together. And I'm really grateful, because not only am I gonna like get super excited when I go about my day, I'm gonna think about like all of you. Like, oh my God, like I'm just so excited that you guys are doing the work, and even though you're doing it for yourself, I really feel like when we do this work, it is, yes, it's for ourselves, but it's not for ourselves at all.
Yeah, it's for the collective.
We don't,
bigger than us.
we would not choose.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. It's definitely way bigger than us.
It's way bigger.
Bawling.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it is. Imagine if I was actually happy, apparently. Like, what the fuck would happen in the world? Like, I know, like, apparently I'm only, like, surface level happy. I'm like, and I have a fucking great life. So this is going to be kind of fun to see how this fucking moves, you know? Like, oh my God, Colleen, can you fucking come off of your goddamn umbrella, like, floating around the fucking universe? And no. No, I'm going to stay over here and keep playing.
Amen. All right. Well, any kind of like final thoughts before we close out? Ahas, insights, anything like that, and then Tanya, you can close.
I think I like Colleen's perspective too on defining suffering, as I go about freaking hair on my eyeball, because I think this is something I think we should definitely dive into, maybe on another thing. another call again, because I think everyone's unique and different. Everyone has their own perspective, but like calling, going, am I suffering? I don't know. And then some people that I know who have a perspective of everything is suffering, like their whole life is suffering, and what is the impetus for change? And I really do believe that the suffering is a driving force to connect us with the divine. And I think that's something that I would like to maybe talk about on another call, on another time. I think is important to look at, because I find that it's almost like, when you hear those old stories of what they call it, foxhole prayers, when you're in like the shit and people like reach out to God, but seriously though, I think that's what happens. And I think suffering, because people are like, why is life so hard? Why do we have to suffer? So where's the suffering in your life? And at what point are you going to do something about it? What point are you going to lean in and look at it, or realize that you're not just a victim? At what point are you able to say, hey, what can I own? What can I look at? And where is this leading me? And I think having that awareness, especially as people start to awaken on the planet, I think I've noticed with my clients that there's a lot of them that are like, why is there so much in the world that's going on? Why is there so much suffering? What is going on with this? Why, if we're waking up and moving forward this new earth, why is it, and trying to explain to them they're not at that place, right, where they're ready to really understand that. We're here about polarity and how this has to come to be healed, it has to be brought to the light, to be let go and released and healed. And all they see is like, the child trafficking, the rape, the violence, all that stuff. And I'm like, all right, well, it's twofold purpose, right? It's part of polarity, but it's also part of suffering, and we all choose it, right? We choose our journey, and none of this is an accident, and they just can't wrap their head around it, right? So I think it's worth like digging into that a little bit more, because I know there's a lot of, especially newer people that are newly awakened, who do not understand that,
Yeah.
So I just thought it'd be something maybe on another call we could kind of look into a little more and talk about polarity and the fun stuff.
I got something. Okay.
Oh, of course you do.
Drop it in, bro.
Shocker.
Okay. And this is kind of like when I came up with this concept, I was like, oh my God, this is the only thing I have to do every single day is, okay, where am I the victim? All right. Where am I the victor? Because we need the victim and the victor to become victorious.
I love it.
Yeah, Brooke, you're fucking hilarious. You make me laugh.
But you
all the
can't,
time.
if like, instead of being like, I don't want to be the victim, I can't be the victim, well, then you can't be the victor either. But you can't be the victor or the victim. Like, you're still then there, the dualities. But if we could just imagine what life would be like if, because of the victim, we could come in and we could be the victor, and we create victory. Like, I don't know. I'm sorry, I'm a dork.
Well, it goes back to the law of polarity, because both are present and both are needed, and we swing the pendulum consistently there. So when we go into victim, it's just awareness of victim. Like, what does it feel like? What does it be like to be here? It's part of the whole process of us being incarnated. It's a principle / law of the universal code. Like, it is. It's not like we can move away from it. We have to have both, just like we need the shadow work in order to illuminate more light. We've got to go into the darkness and pull it. We've got to. Like, it's part of the process. We cannot expand further than where we are without doing shadow work. Yeah. So.
Amen. I love this.
Amen.
I'm so grateful for you guys. All right. So you want to close us out, Tanya?
Yeah, happy to. Okay, just take a big deep breath, close your eyes, settle in your body, and just release. And as we're settling in, just drop into your heart. Drop into your heart space and see that beautiful, brilliant light, the light of your soul. And as you breathe into that, light is just building there. It's growing and it's flooding your whole body. And as you breathe out, you're just releasing anything that's come up for you today, anything that feels emotional or dense or heavy. And we're just breathing that out. And as we do, and we sit and we thank Spirit, that is who we are. It is not just something external to us. The divine is not out there somewhere. It is who you are. And all you need to do is just center in on your heart to sense that you are that presence. That presence is you. And we are all connected, and it is part of all of us and all of our experience and everything that is conscious around you. And just know that you are at the right place at the right time, that everything you're experiencing is for a purpose and for a reason, and that all things are always working for your best and highest good. So grounding in this energy, that we embody the truth of who we are, knowing that in our suffering there is that gift, and that if we allow and seek that, that is what is expanding our consciousness and helping us grow as our human collective with our brothers and sisters. Knowing that all things are always as they are meant to be. Thank you, Spirit, for this beautiful time together. And I ask that all souls listening would gain what they need, knowing that everyone who hears this message today is hearing it at the right time, in the right place, in its designed perfect moment. And so it is.
And so it is.
It is.
All right.
Thank you, ladies.
And I will. I'm going to send you guys a boxer. Okay. Bye.
All right, bye.
Love you.